On it, another day in the year 1990, a passenger train travelling from Manchester in England to London had begun its usual journey, although with a slight delay. The minds of almost all the passengers travelling on it were set on reaching London after a 4-hour journey. However, the minds of only one woman among the passengers was not set on the city of London. In her mind, she became a boy wearing round spectacles and travelled towards the world of magic. She did not forget to give this little lad a name either. She later named him Harry Potter. There is hardly anyone around the whole world who doesn't know this name. There are still people around the world today who seek information about Harry Potter and the world of magic, who have won the love of everyone, young and old, adults and youth. You would know that the Harry Potter book series and the film series became equally popular. We invite you to stay with us until the end of this endeavor to change your life through the life story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter story series that the world loved. Number 1. The resolve unshaken by rejection. Rejection. Just hearing this word is enough to discourage most of us. But Rowling's story begins amidst a mountain of massive rejection. When she completed her first Harry Potter manuscript, she was at one of the most difficult points in her life. She wrote this work while being jobless, a single mother living on state benefits and suffering from severe mental depression. She herself has said, by every usual standard, I was the biggest failure I knew. Even in such a state, she did not give up on her dream of writing. She submitted her manuscript to publishers. But what was the reaction? Rejection. Not from one, not from two. She received rejection from 12 publishers. Think for a moment. What would happen to you if something you created with great effort and dedication over a long period was rejected? Most people give up their effort right there. But Rowling did not. She tried again and again. She believed that the world needed her story. She saw rejections not as a signal to stop, but as encouragement to try harder. Finally, her efforts succeeded. That was when a small publishing company named Bloomsbury accepted her manuscript. The lesson is this: rejection is not the end of your journey, but a temporary obstacle that must be endured until the right door opens. With every rejection, Rowling's resolve only grew stronger. It never broke. Number 2. Never giving up, writing amidst obstacles. The obstacles in Rowling's life were not merely rejection from publishers. Her life itself was a wall of obstacles at the time. She suffered from financial hardship. She was at the peak of poverty, relying on state aid. She didn't even have money to get photocopies of her manuscript. So she manually typed every copy on a typewriter. A multitude personal challenges lay on her shoulders: severe mental depression, a failed marriage, and the responsibility of raising a young daughter along were burned upon her. In such a difficult time, most people forgot their dreams. But the only solace in Rowling's life was writing. She spent many hours sitting in Edinburgh tea shops while her young daughter slept, limiting herself to just one of copy, dedication time to write her story. She focused on her purpose. She knew the only thing she owned, The only thing she could do well was writing her story. She knew she could not change the miserable situation of the outside world, but she knew she could change her inner world. So, friends, even if you face the bitterest experience in life, do not give up on what you love, what you believe in. Your true strength is embedded in what you do, even amidst obstacles. If you are honest about your purpose and if you continue to try, the obstacles will naturally fade away. Number 3. Rowling, who made failure the foundation of success. What we commonly consider a failure, Rowling made the foundation of success. She herself has said, "Failure allowed me to strip away the innocence from my life." Losing her job, divorce, poverty, all this motivated her to focus on single tasks that was important to her. The feelings created by her mental depression and dark periods influenced the creation of dark characters in her book. The failure in her life became the core of her creation. What is most valuable thing failure gives you? Self-knowledge. Only through failure can you truly learn about yourself, the strength of your relationships and your genuine slow. Necessity. When you fall to the very bottom of failing, you have no option but to rise. That necessity gives you unprecedented strength. The failures in her life not only made her success brighter but also gave her story depth and truth. Do not fear failure. It is not the end of your life, but an opportunity given to you to rise again. It will strip away the things that do not belong to you. Your weakest moment will guide you towards your greatest creation. Number 4. Unwavering belief in oneself and one's goal. The biggest motivation throughout Rowling's entire story is the unwavering belief she held in herself and her goal. Even after being rejected 12 times, even when publishers told her this is not good, but she believed herself. Even though the entire society labeled her a failure, she listened to her inner voice. If you don't believe that the most powerful thing, the right thing, the correct decision lies with you, you can never move forward. No money, she had no job, she had no stability, she had only one thing, her story. Her belief that her story must be brought to the world was more powerful than all her obstacles. Eventually, her belief came true. She became the world's first billionaire author. Her books became the best-selling series in the world. Remember, the world first laughed at your dream. They say, you can't do it. But Rowling's story clearly shows us that if you believe in your goal and continue to try, you will ultimately win. Friends, the story of Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling is not just a story of magic. It is a story of life. It is the resolve that is not broken by rejections. It is the effort that is not given up even by the bitterest experience. It is the wisdom that makes even failure a stepping stone to success. It is the continuous belief kept in oneself. Today, no matter what dark place you are in your life, remember that dream in your heart, that effort you continue to make, that story you believe in is the force that can change this world. The magic to change your life lies with you. Take that first step today. Don't give up. Believe in yourself.